One of the interesting sort of lines of attack that is really coming out now from the Republicans, and there was some talk of this before, but it couldn't land quite as well until Biden absolutely decided he wasn't going to run. Is that the Democrats in general, including Harris as his vice president, had colluded in an effort basically to hide from the American people that this candidate was unfit. And part of that has gone to people suggesting that Biden should resign straight away as president. But even people who don't say that are saying, look, the fact that he's not running is an admission that he can't run. If he can't run, he can't serve. If he can't run and serve, what on earth were you doing telling us that he could when you were seeing him on a day-to-day basis, which the rest of us weren't? How that's clearly a talking point in the first year. We're less than 48 hours on from the decision, so let's not talk about long-term effects. But how far do you think that one can run and can come back and have blowback on both Harris and sort of and Democrats more widely?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously it could dent it a little bit, or a lot. I mean, we'll see how much that ends up mattering with the American people. I don't think there's a pretty easy answer to it, right? Which is, I feel totally capable of Biden, feel totally capable of doing this job, but I understand that the questions around my age and ability have become a distraction, and there's too much at stake for me to be the candidate. And further, while I know I can do this job until November, on reflection, can I do the job for another 3 months plus 4 years, right? That's an easy answer. Now, Republicans are not going to let it go away that easily. And I we'll have hearings and we'll try to, so there's sort of two ways this could go. On the one hand, it could succeed in tying Harris to questions of Biden's age, which is to say the campaign will be what it's been about, which is not good for Democrats. Or alternatively, it will keep Republicans sort of fighting the last battle while Democrats move on and push their new message, right? So if you have Kamala out there, as she was yesterday, saying, I'm a former prosecutor, I've gone up against crooks and sexual predators and con artists, so let me tell you, I know Trump's type. If she's saying that and you're just saying, well, Biden's old, like, is that an effective line of attack for you? So we'll see, right? I don't know, but it's certainly a political. It's certainly okay on the part of like Republican political operatives and or Trump supporters. I think there's an attempt to keep the election on the same terms that it was. Mm-hmm. I will also say, like, look, I'm an American citizen. I have questions about why were you all out here telling us, yeah, this guy is going to be the candidate after that debate? Like, why were you telling us that we didn't see what we saw? Right. So there are real questions about how this was handled. But I don't think that means that Harris was involved in a cover up. And I think the difference there will come out in the wash of the campaign.
Yeah, my gut is that it's the opposite of what was happening before, which is I think it is an important and genuine question to be asked, and for citizens, like you said, it's relevant, but I don't see it as being a very strong campaign attack because at the end of the day, Biden is not on the ticket anymore, and as we go into campaign season properly over the next few months, as we get to a debate, like it may come up, but I doubt voters will care that much. Also because. As you said, that there's a natural argument that he's not only making that, that we have to make some transitional change and so on, but also that it's not about today, it's about the next 4 years. And people are happy to see an old man, retire, let's say, in that sense, rather than being forced out. However it happened, people are not as online as we are. And so they'll ultimately see it as a passing of the torch.
And I think it's important to note because I've seen some... So if that's the conspiratorial right, I've seen some on the left who have said that this was a coup, this was driven by donors, this was driven by the New York Times. I'm sorry, this was driven by voters. Like, this was driven by voters who for years said, I would like a different candidate, please. And granted, like, voters always say that, the most popular candidate is always like the third unknown, but at least often is. But in this case, like, voters were telling the Democratic Party, we are concerned about his age, before the Democratic Party was saying that amongst themselves. So like good. You know, that the party should be responsive to its people. It shouldn't be the other way around.